Hello again. Today we're going to begin with the second block, which is the one related to medical and paramedical personnel and places. So remember, the people who work in hospitals, clinics, and surgeries, those would be the personnel. We're going to begin with medical practitioners. Okay, so we're going to focus on medical practitioners in the UK, which may not be very different from what we know here in Mexico. Now, practitioners would be the professionals of health. So if they want to be doctors, and they also are called medical practitioners, they need two different things. Basically, they need to be qualified with a medical degree or university degree. They also need to be registered, okay, which is the registration in the General Medical Council, if they want to practice. Okay, so practice here, if you look at the spelling, it is practice with an S at the end. This is the verb. The noun for practice, it has a different spelling. It finishes with CE. Okay, so as I told you before, doctors or medical doctors, if they want to practice, they need two things: a qualification and the registration in the medical council. Now, a doctor who treats patients is called a clinician. So in this case, the clinician is the doctor who treats doctors. If there's a doctor who doesn't treat patients but does some research, then they wouldn't be called a clinician. We also have the general practitioner, or usually you will listen to this acronym, which is the GP. GP is the general practitioner. That is a doctor who provides primary care for patients. So basically, the first contact that you have with a doctor before the specialist would be a GP or the general practitioner. Usually, a general practitioner works in a group practice, and group practices are groups of doctors that work together. If they work in a larger place, they would also work in a health center. So a health center would be also referred to as hospitals. So as I told you before, the spelling is important. So if you want to use the word as a verb, you use practice with the SE ending. If you want to use the noun practice, the spelling is CE. Now, talking about the specialties, okay, you know that after you finish your medical degree, you can study to have a specialty. We're going to see some specialties, and also we're going to read some information that this graduate of medicine told us about. So as you can see here, we have a cardiologist. A cardiologist is a specialist in diseases of the heart and circulation, or the area which is cardiology. A geriatrician specializes in diseases of the elderly patients, or geriatrics. And finally, we have the example of an anesthetist, which is a specialist in anesthetics. Anesthetics, that would be the noun or the area. Now, talking about choosing a specialty, we have this letter that Jill Matthews, who has just graduated, wrote. So be careful and pay attention to them, to the words that she used. So she said, I haven't decided what to specialize in. I need more experience before I decide, but I'm quite attracted to the idea of pediatrics because I like working with children. I'd certainly prefer to work with children than, say, elderly patients. So I don't fancy geriatrics. I was never very interested in detailed anatomy, so the surgical specialties like neurosurgery don't really appeal. You have to be good with your hands, which I don't think is a problem for me. I've assisted at operations several times, and I've even done some minor ops by myself. But surgeons have to be able to do the same thing again and again without getting bored, like tying off cut arteries and so on. I don't think that would be a problem for me, but they need to make decisions fast, and I'm not good at that. I like to have time to think, which means surgery is probably not right for me. So what we can see from this letter is that she wants to specialize in pediatrics. Okay, so that's a collocation, specialize in, because she likes working with children. She is interested, no, she's not interested in anatomy. That's another collocation. So she wouldn't be good she wouldn't be good as a neurosurgeon because she's not very good with surgical specialties. She has assisted at operations, so that's another collocation, assisted at. We can say that she's not good at doing the same thing again and again. So those are just some collocations that we heard in her letter. Now, for this topic, you have a quiz as well as with the other topics. Just remember, go to the Schoology platform and find the